Hollywood and the American culture has always had an eerie fascination with near death experiences and what happens to us after we die. Well, for many years, there have been countless stories of people who claim to have encountered life after death or spoken to their loved ones who have died. And many have said those experiences changed their lives forever and for the better. Well, tonight I'm talking to people about their near death experiences and how it pushed them to pursue happiness and define the impossible. Tonight, the business of being Black is life after death. And to begin our journey through this time and space, I have invited three guests who have experienced death and, like Jesus, rose again. My first guest is the best-selling author and entrepreneur, Johnnie Davis. Hi, Johnnie.
Hello, Tammy. How are you?
Fine. Did I go too far with that Jesus thing there?
Well, some people do call me the modern day Lazarus, but
Yes. Please explain, why would they call you the modern day Lazarus?
Well, because I did die via sudden cardiac arrest, Christmas Eve of 2012. My heart stopped for over 16 minutes, and I was in a coma for 2 days and 9 days in the hospital. But in that period of my heart stopping for 16 minutes, I had no oxygen, I had no pulse whatsoever. So I was clinically dead, and I literally died in my wife's arms, and that began that whole journey of me going into the comas and staying in there. Being in that coma for 2 days.
So did I hear you say you literally died for 16 minutes?
Yes.
Now, my question is here, if you died for 16 minutes, what made them even try to recover you? 16 minutes is a long time to be without oxygen.
Well, that's a great question, because I asked the same question to the firemen that were working on me. And they just said, there was no way that we were going to let you go. So there was a period of over 16 minutes that elapsed where I didn't have any oxygen or any pulse. So when I went into sudden cardiac arrest, my wife, she began to administer CPR, only to witness me die. The firemen, they arrived at my home, and it was 4 of them, and each one of them did 300 chest compressions on me for a total of 1,200 compressions. And they shocked me 6 times with the defibrillator. And it was on the 6th time that I regained a pulse, but I did not regain, I didn't regain consciousness. And so I was pretty much, I was done. It was touch and go. I coded a couple of times on the way to the hospital. I coded in the hospital. And there was a point where the doctors told my wife on Christmas Eve that there's nothing else that we can do at this point. And if you're a praying person, you definitely want to pray. There's no guarantee that he is going to survive. And if he does, the likelihood of him being a vegetable is very high, because there was so much time that elapsed without him having any oxygen to the brain.
Right.
So there is
because it seems in that situation, Johnnie, that you would have come back. If you came back as you did, it would have been under very difficult circumstances, almost near vegetable-like for the duration of your life. So explain how that did not happen.
Well, therein lies the miracle. Therein lies the miracle. So I don't have any brain damage, at least I don't think so. And my wife doesn't think so. But yeah.
Well, if your wife doesn't think so, then you probably don't.
But if you know anything about oxygen deprivation to the brain, you know that the brain starts to die after 4 minutes without having any oxygen.
Exactly.
And so, but in that, I cannot give you a medical explanation. I can't give you a logical explanation. Therein lies the miracle. So that's when people ask me that, that's my answer. I have no idea why that is or how that is, but I just know that it is.
Were the firemen surprised?
They were very, very surprised. They came back to see me like 2 days after I came out of my coma, and they could not believe that I was alive, and they could not believe that I still was able to speak, and I was coherent. I didn't remember anything about what transpired. I don't recall anything about that night. I don't recall anything about going into sudden cardiac arrest. But they were very shocked because of the amount of time that elapsed without me having any oxygen to the brain. They just knew that, okay, this guy, we're just going to check on him and see. But I don't think they were expecting to see me in the state that they actually saw me in when they arrived.
Yeah, who would have? How did your wife take that?
My wife was overjoyed. She had witnessed me die in her arms.
Yeah, I'm saying that had to have been an extremely emotional roller coaster to go through. Your husband dies in your arms and then he comes back to life and now he's in a coma. And like, I don't even know how she could muster up the mental capacity to deal with something like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I refer to her as my wife saver. She has so much strength and so much courage.
Yeah.
I would not be here today without her. So I literally owe my life to her. And I thank God for her every day.
And you call her your wife saver. I love that.
Yes.
I love that. How did you know that you were having a near-death experience versus hallucinations?
Well, I know for a fact that when I was in a coma, well, I don't know exactly where I was, but I knew I got to a point where I started to kind of float out of my body, and I saw myself. I saw my body lying in the bed, and I heard a voice that said that it was not my time, and you couldn't stay. You have to go back. And I could not tell if it was a female voice or if it was a male voice, but it was just a voice, and it was very soft but loud at the same time. It was just like, when you're reading a book to yourself,
Yeah.
and you can hear yourself reading,
Yeah.
but you're not moving your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was the voice that I heard. And I know how I felt in that space. I know that I didn't want to return. I didn't want to come back. I knew that I was conscious of the fact that I was not present in my body, if that makes any sense.
I have so many questions. Okay, you just said you didn't want to come back. Why didn't you want to come back?
Because the feeling that I felt in that moment, I felt a sense of perfect love, a warmth, a comfort, a security. It was just extremely peaceful. And it was unlike anything that I've ever experienced in my life. And I just wanted to hold on to that.
And what's fascinating to me is that you say you don't remember a thing. So, Johnnie, take me back to that day. From the point of, do you remember what you were doing before you had the heart attack? Do you remember where you were?
Well, sudden cardiac arrest. So there's a difference between the heart attack and sudden cardiac arrest.
Okay.
When I don't remember anything, I don't remember anything that led up to that point, and I don't remember the incident actually occurring. But I do recall what I experienced when I transcended out of my body. But as my wife told me the story 100 times, that night we were just talking about what we were going to do for Christmas, and just thinking about all the things, just doing our Christmas planning for dinner and having friends over, family members and things of that nature. And so she said that we were watching a movie on a laptop in our bed, and we fell asleep. And she said that 3 o'clock in the morning, I reached over and I grabbed her and I was shaking her. And she thought I was having a bad dream. So she was calling my name, Johnnie, Johnnie, wake up, wake up. And when I didn't respond, she turned on the lights and saw that my eyes were rolling in the back of my head.
Wow.
She immediately called 911, and they told her what to do as far as administering chest compressions and so on and so forth. So
did she know CPR?
What's that?
Did she know CPR at all?
Yeah. Yes. Okay. My wife is a former nursing student, so her nursing skills kicked in. But the dispatcher told her what to do as far as how to administer CPR. So she began to do that. Now she's administering the CPR on me while I'm in the bed. And you know that when you're doing CPR on someone, they should be on a hard surface. So just imagine you're doing chest compressions on somebody, and the bed is just going up and down with them. So it wasn't really effective. But nonetheless, she still continued to do it until the firemen arrived.
Look, this is, it's so, I don't even know what to call it. Like, when you talk about your experience within the transition,
Mm-hmm.
I just wonder, and I'm sure there's no words to describe it, how you think that you really separated your soul from your body is what it sounds like,
Mm-hmm.
and then looked at yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think those were dreams you were having, maybe within the coma, or?
No, I don't think they were dreams. It was just as clear as me looking at my hand in front of my face right now, that I was my spirit man was in one place and my body was on the bed or in that room or wherever it was. It was clear in that moment to me that I was in two different places, or my spirit had departed from my body.
Wow. Our soulmates are weighing in on your story, Johnny. So I want to get them real quick here. Let's see. GH says, we are non-physical beings having a physical experience on earth. You believe that, Johnny?
100%.
Yeah. Tony Wesley said, y'all trying to give me nightmares tonight. I don't think there's a nightmare in transitioning and coming back. Do you see it as a nightmare? How do you view that experience? Literally, do you think it was a sad experience, a happy experience? How do you describe the actual experience?
I think for me, it was a revelation. I can't say it was a happy or sad experience, because it was a revelation to know, the gentleman who said that comment before, that we're spiritual beings having a human experience. And I really felt that at the moment, that, wow, this is a totally different, it's just a totally different, pure experience. And when I was in that space, I knew that I did not want to return. So if you could describe that as happy, I guess maybe it was a happy experience. It was an experience of being in a place where I just felt so much comfort and peace. You know, I describe it as a newborn in the arms of his mother. Just that, wow, that purity. You know, that
you have just described peace and warmth. Yeah, protection.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Warmth and love. You know,
everybody is usually scared of death. And the way you're describing it sounds like nothing to be afraid of.
No, it isn't. And that's one of the things that I appreciate so much about this experience that I've gone through now, because it has removed my fears, and I'm not afraid of death. You know, there's two major fears that everyone has: public speaking and death, right?
Yeah.
I do both of them, so I have no more fears.
One of our soulmates, Creation Muse, says, we do not fully understand the human body. And obviously we don't understand the human body. You consider the whole experience a miracle.
Absolutely. Because there is absolutely no way, Tammy, based on medical science and what the physicians in the medical community understand and know today, with all of the training and knowledge they have, there is no way that I should be alive. There's no way I should be on this show. There's no way that I should be able to speak and be coherent. There's just no way. And it's beyond my understanding. It's beyond my pay grade. But I can tell you this, I am so grateful and I am so thankful and I'm so appreciative to be in this moment right now.
Before we go to break, I want to ask you, were you a believer before you died or after you died, or both?
Both.
So then when your wife prayed, her prayers were sincere prayers because you both are believers.
When she prayed, when my mom prayed, there was a prayer chain around the globe, unbeknownst to me, of everyone praying for me. And yes, those prayers were definitely answered for sure.
We're going to continue to talk about near-death experiences tonight on the Tammi Mac Late Show on Fox Soul. So don't go anywhere. You can weigh in on our chat. Yeah, we're on YouTube and we're live. So just chat with us. We'll chat back. We're coming right back on the Tammi Mac Late Show.